What's up, agency owners? Jason Swenk here with another episode of the Smart Agency Masterclass, a podcast where I interview amazing agency owners all over the world, share their wins, their mistakes, their lessons, so you can actually grow your agency faster. And on today's episode, I have an amazing agency owner who's going to talk about a lot of the mistakes and successes that actually grew their agency so you can avoid them and also kind of go faster through them. So let's go ahead and jump into the show. Hey, Valentin, welcome to the show.
Hi there, Jason. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on. So tell us who you are and what do you guys do?
I'm Valentin Radu from Bucharest, Romania. I'm running a company called OnmiConvert. We have a consulting arm, and we are providing services to e-commerce and retailers to grow faster, to improve their lifetime value and conversion rate with our A/B testing platform. And also, we have a software. Last but not the least, I'm also running an academy called CVO Academy. We are democratizing the way to grow value in retail and e-commerce.
Awesome. Very exciting. How did you guys get your start? Like, tell me how you jumped into the agency.
Yeah, so initially we had only the software division. So at some point back in 2016, we raised some money. We hit the market very, very hard. So basically, we've lost money to validate that our ideal customer profile didn't need only the software, but also the services on top of that. So thanks to that aha moment, we've decided to build a consulting arm to within the company to work like an agency for large companies. And now, after learning so much about optimization, conversion rate optimization, and customer value optimization, we are also training other agencies to do what we've learned to do.
Awesome. And tell them, let's kind of jump into it. Let's talk about what's a really dumb thing that you guys did that kind of translated into massive growth for you over the years?
Yeah, so at some point, there are two things, Jason, and I wanna share both of them because they make sense together. So at some point when we've started to provide this type of consulting, we were having these hourly rates, and we had our technology, and we had a very important customer which was looking for an end result. However, after working with them, we've decided that their infrastructure is a mess and we can't deliver on our promise, and we are burning a lot of hours in vain. So I had a meeting with their head of digital, and at some point I've said, you know what, I'm sorry that we can't really help you out. And the guy said, you know what, in this restaurant we've ordered something, and if we would be ordering a steak and the waiter will step in without a steak and telling us that this is the bill, would you think it's going to be okay to pay it? And that was an aha moment, because in an agency environment, it's not about the hours, it's not about the effort that you put in. It's the end result, it's providing to the customer with the solution, the end solution. And that was an aha moment, because the agency game is totally different than the software game, where here's a tool, play with it, goodbye. And another important thing that we've learned as well, it was back in 2017, we burned something like $700,000 into a go-to-market strategy. We acquired a lot of customers that started to churn, and we were basically bleeding money. So I've looked into the data, and I've made this analysis to look at the ideal customer curve, from which geographies, what kind of services and features they are using, and how much of a hassle it is with them, what's the profitability by the type of customer. And we realized that, you know what, we are having all targets, all markets, and we are not focusing enough. We serve software as a service companies, we serve B2B, B2C, e-commerce, whatever. We need to make up our mind, because we don't have unlimited resources. We have to be undeniable, to provide undeniable value to a type of customer, and then we can expand to other verticals. And that was a very painful lesson, but it paid off. Here we are. Now we are doing better than ever.
I like that you phrased it as a $700,000 lesson rather than, a mistake. So how long did it take you to figure that out of like, hey, I need to really narrow down rather than kind of go after everybody?
Yeah, in total, it was something like 8 months when we blasted pretty much everyone. We had like 21 people employed, and they were hitting hard on all the prospects that they could find. I mean, our criteria to decide who to go after were pretty broad.
Was it you that decided that, or your team, or as a group together?
As, yeah, as a group. So we thank God I had always been surrounded by very smart guys, and I've also uh, had this let's say curiosity to see how the others are seeing our current reality. So at some point, the guy from the finance team, no more, we can't do it anymore. The sales teams, the sales leader was as well very disappointed, even though he was the one bragging about how we're going to conquer the entire planet. And thanks to that, we've started to look, to put under the microscope all our existing customers, which is basically a method that we've applied forward, because that was the basis of our methodology to improve customer lifetime value, is to do customer research, to find who are your best customers and why they are buying from you. Once you know that, you know who to target, because again, we don't have unlimited resources to spray and pray and to hope for the best.
And then I love that. Let's go back to kind of the first one of going, realizing that you were charging someone but not providing them the steak. I like that analogy. So, what did you do different in order to make sure you guys were providing the steak, which is the results for your clients?
Yeah, so mainly we invented something which was called the North Star metric for each of our customers, and we've documented it. And in the client file, we know at any time if I'm stepping into the to work for that client, they knew what's their North Star metric. This company is here because we want to achieve this type of objective by using their own words. So basically, we've reinvestigated all our existing customers. Hey, what you are buying from us? Sorry to bother you after half a year or 2 years since we are in business together, but what are you really after? And we had some very different responses, because we thought that we are selling conversion rate optimization, while some of them, they've bought the fact that we are always coming with crazy creative ideas that they can't get into their own company, and they are seeing us as the extension of their team. So they weren't really after the numbers that we are chasing, but the ideas that were making their company more innovative. So that was what we did right after that.
It's amazing what you can gather from and learn from your clients if you just ask, but you have to figure out what to ask them.
Yeah.
We're working with this one company right now that they keep going over, like, they do email marketing for us. And they constantly, every week, they go, our open rate is this. And I constantly keep telling them, I do not care about the open rate. I care about the number of meetings that you set. The more you say open rate, the more I want to punch you in the face. Or I'm going to slap you with the steak that I don't have on my table yet.
Yeah.
But understanding what your clients actually want and how they're measuring you, which is, the North Star that you were mentioning, is, I wish everybody would do that. It would just make meetings go a lot quicker. And I bet when you did that, your meetings, your communication probably got a lot simpler too.
Yeah, because you know what's their desired outcome, and that was also thanks to a providential meeting with Bob Mesta, which is one of the pioneers of the jobs to be done methodology. So he opened my mind. In terms of marketing, it was before and after I've met him, because before meeting him, it was about who's the company, how many employees, whatever. And after meeting him, I've realized that it's always about what's the itch, what's the struggling moment that makes someone say today is the day that I'm going to sign this contract with you. And once you know that, you realize that, you know what, maybe the decision maker is buying your services because he or she has an internal conflict with another department. So he needs to demonstrate that his results are outstanding. Or maybe there are many, let's say, struggles which are hidden, and you think you are selling something, but you are basically selling other things. And unless you do this type of interviews with your existing customers to unveil what's behind their decision making process, you can't make real progress for them and with them, and B, you can't acquire customers properly because your messaging is going to be really shallow. It's not going to be about the thing that it's the most let's say important and impactful for them, and you're going to have this chaotic messaging that is not going to be as appealing as it can be.
I worked with an agency owner a couple of years ago, and I remember them coming to me. His name was Jose, and he does nonprofits for websites. And I remember I asked him, I said, well, what do you do? And what do people want? And he was like, well, they want beautiful websites for their nonprofits. I'm like, no, they don't. What do they really want? And he was like, well, they want more members. They want more donors. They want more volunteers. And I'm like, so that's kind of the stake. That's the metrics that you should be communicating to them about how is your website converting those three into that. And then I asked them, the last question was, why do they actually want more members, donors, and volunteers? And he said, so they could spread their message. I said, that's your marketing. So I never want to hear you say, I design beautiful websites for nonprofits. I want you to say, we design awesome websites that bring in more donors, vendors, and volunteers so you can spread your message and affect change. And he's like, oh, that's really good. And it's changed his whole business, both from knowing, like what you were saying, what do they need to report on and deliver, but also in their marketing about attracting and making sure people are like, man, where have you been all my life versus I don't know what option to pick because there's so many different options.
Yeah. I love it. And I think what is happening in the market now, Jason, is that realizing that the brief from their clients is also changing. So back in the days, agencies were about sending emails, like you've said, increasing the open rate, reporting some stuff, building some reports that nobody was looking at. But now in this highly competitive environment, many clients which are looking for service providers and agencies, they are having a changed brief. Is more like, help me fix my business model. It's not help me send emails. It's help me understand how to become profitable again. It's not look in my data and send me some reports from Google Analytics. And that's very important to understand, because as an agency owner or as an agency leader, you have to go where the market goes. So you always need to be a step ahead of the curve and to differentiate. And unfortunately, that means you have to change first if you want to change the results that you're after. So if you want to stop having customers that churn, stop having pitches that you don't win, you need to stop doing what you've always did, which means change your mentality, learn more about the businesses that you are serving. And that means you need to be like a doctor for the patients, right? And that means, for instance, for e-commerce agencies, and here is something that we always see over and over again, the agencies are struggling, but they are not moving further to be even way more knowledgeable on the e-commerce growth formula, or in how to move the needle, than there are their customers. And if you always sell what it's already old, obsolete, then you're not going to sell anything.
Yeah, well, it's the old mentality of like, you need to be doing something different if you want different results.
Yeah.
And you have to make the commitment now, rather than being like, I see so many agencies that are reactive to what's coming to them. I'm just too busy. I'll make this change when I'm not too busy. Well, when you're not too busy, you're going to be out of work. It's just about prioritization of figuring out what do you need to focus on and who do we actually need, to hire. One of the books I tell everybody to check out now is a friend of mine, Dan Martell's book, Buy Back Your Time. And it's really, when you want to scale, it's not about just hiring the higher ups. It's about looking at what are the low level tasks you're doing right now. And I think, actually, Dan got this from my mentor, Herman, where he talks about getting rid of the $10, $100 tasks first. And then once you get rid of that, then you can start hiring, the higher ups, the people like you hired around, the finance, be like, look, stop doing this service. You're losing money. You're not making money, but you're making money over here. So go do that. It's like, it's common sense, but until you kind of hear it and get hit in the mouth a couple times, you won't make the change. Well, this has been great, Valentin. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would benefit agency owners listening in?
I think what's important to share is that there are many agencies which are struggling right now, and we know this for a fact because we have this program to support agencies. We are working right now as a bridge between customers that are using our technology and can't leverage it, and agencies which are on the lookout for clients. And we have like 3,200 websites which are sharing data with us. And by working with these agencies, we do know for a fact that they are struggling. And what I want to share is that besides the external game, if you're an entrepreneur, it's first your internal game. So you need to have the right mindset. And that means to make sure that you are going towards a bright future, but you can't reach it. Is just a wet dream if you're not producing the changes, because the entrepreneurial journey is more like a spiritual journey. So besides the external things like zeros and likes and whatever books that you're writing, I'm writing also a book right now, and it's an amazing endeavor. But besides that, which is external, it's who you are becoming in the process. And many entrepreneurs are being eaten up by the comfort. So they get to a certain level and they don't make any progress, and they end up either having like a so-and-so company which is just a cash cow, or they end up always struggling and working like a jack of all trades without having the reliable people that they can have, out of the fear of changing themselves. And I've done this multiple times, and I just want to share this with whoever is listening, that this is not so hard to do. And it's all starting by observing yourself. And I have a habit that I want to share, if you agree, Jason. What I'm doing to change my inner game is I'm journaling. It's such a simple process. I'm journaling and I'm putting there all my struggles, all my bad beliefs, whatever. And the beauty is that once you are also reading it, I'm reading it every week, every month, every year. And when you read it, you see that you are making progress. And that means you come to terms with yourself. You start to accept, and you see that despite the fact that I haven't hit my whatever quota, I am way better. I've been such an idiot to think that 3 weeks ago, 3 years ago. And once you see the progress that you've made, you are changing the entire game. You end up in a position to see that you are more happy, you are content, and you share this with your people, because you need to be a source of trust, of happiness, of wisdom for your people. And that's how you attract talent, because you level up your game, you end up having other people around you. So I guess that's the thing that I wanted to share at the end of our conversation.
I love that. Well, this has been amazing. I appreciate you coming on the show. Great tips and strategies. And for everyone listening, I hope you guys do go back to your clients. Literally, have your account managers go back to your clients and say, what is the one thing of what you expect from us, or that you actually chose us? What was the one thing that you're trying to solve? And then make sure that you're solving that. And literally, that should be like, if you have what we do all the time is we constantly review our members or our clients, and we rate them green, yellow, red. Like, Greens mean they're fantastic. They're good. We're on track. Yellow, not really sure. We need to check in. Red, we need to do something immediately. If you're not actively doing that, you're missing the boat. So please go do that. And if you guys want to be around other amazing agency owners that can give you other strategies like this and see the things you might not be able to see, we'd love for you to go check out agencymastery360.com and book a blueprint with our agency scale specialist. This is something that can really change, and we will look at what you're doing now and where you want to go and what the biggest challenges are, and we'll help you put a game plan together for that. So make sure you go to agencymastery360.com, and until next time, have a swank day.